Guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly Dungeon Master this evening, or this afternoon, or this morning, wherever this finds you, whenever this finds you. Today, we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign, playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, playing an adventure set in the world of Magic the Gathering's plane-sized city, Ravnica, using material from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica. And with me today are the stars of the Ravnica campaign. We're calling it Down and Out in Precinct, what is it, Precinct 6? Does that sound right, guys?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Allow me to introduce you to the stars of our campaign here. Why don't you guys tell us who you are, who you're playing, and what guild are you aligned to? First up, we've got Mo.
Hi, I'm Morris. I'm playing Iago Cardinal, or Dr. Cardinal. He is an artificer, and he is a member of the Is It Guild.
Nice. Next up is Carl.
Hello, I'm playing Trovic. He is a Path of the Berserker Barbarian from the Gruul Guild, Burning Tree tribe.
Nice. Next up is Ingolf.
Yeah, I'm Ingolf. I'm playing Vazul, who is a bard, and he is working for the Saurius Senate.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Kabobo, who is a celestial warlock, and he works for the Orzhov Syndicate.
Nice. Now, Jeffrey was not able to join us last session, but we did have a bit of an eventful one. What happened last time, guys? I know it's been a couple of weeks since we played, but...
Right, the first thing we did was we fought the Briny Behemoth, which was a toad thingy. And we eventually managed to take that down, and then we traveled some more time to meet the others in this cross-guild team that is going to investigate this, including Kabobo's ex-wife and a number of other different guild members.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure you've met Jeffrey, I'm not sure you've met Kabobo's ex-wife yet. Here's Mizzix.
She is very beautiful.
Definitely. She's got one eye looking at you, one eye looking for you. So, carry on.
I think then we were actually moving towards the main site. We had to go underground into a flooded, presumably an old flooded road or a massive sewer, and we were traveling together in small boats with some of the other team in the front and ourselves at the back, and we were ambushed by some manta ray, dragon ray, spitting acid, sorry, dragonfly, manta ray humanoids who spat acid. We also had a cave-in that blocked the lead boats from ourselves. So after dealing with the humanoid things, we eventually managed to find a way through the blockage and joined up with the others. Mm-hmm. Then was some discussion because the humanoid things were obviously sort of Simic Combine constructs by the look of it. And I think we'd sort of left it where we were saying, well, what about these things? And I think we were talking to the Simic Combine member of the group saying, well, what's going on? And I think, from memory, that's where we left it.
Yeah, and it was Mizzix. Mizzix was injured in the attack as well, too.
Yeah.
So you may recall that Mizzix went or threw her lot in with the Simic Combine, while Kabobo went with the Orzhov Syndicate. She has some of the typical, the kind of like, bio implants that are characteristic of the Simic Combine. But not only was she injured in the attack, also she strongly denied the accusations. Kabobo remained, I think, a little quiet. Now, Kabobo, what do you think? We said that your relationship was fairly good with Mizzix. What do you think? Seeing her again, has it been a long time? Is this you see her semi-regularly?
I think this is maybe the first time we spent any time together in a while. I think our careers took us in very different directions, and so we probably don't make time to see each other because, you know, there was maybe still feelings there, and it was a difference of path of life that separated the relationship. So probably revisiting it isn't a good thing, right? You don't want to reopen that wound kind of thing, right? You want to just sort of stay apart. So
I think what we said is that she has two crows, but they look more like they've got the skin of like a salamander, and their eyes are like insects, like segmented eyes.
If she was injured, though, Kabobo would definitely heal her.
Okay.
I think that Vazul did that already.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
but we offered her help, and she begrudgingly accepted in a way.
Yeah. I think so. This is there was a small patch of. I guess one thing I'll say is that the illustration you guys see on the screen right now is very close to sort of what you've been going through at this point. It isn't the like Dimir. I think it's the Dimir symbol, if I recall. I had it wrong. I think last time I said it was Golgari. I think it's Dimir. Let's see here.
Weren't there three symbols?
Those are three symbols on
there are three symbols, but that is not the tower. You guys have not reached the tower yet. I just wanted to be clear whether the illustration. Yeah, that is Dimir. That's Dimir.
Yeah, I was going to say the one on the screen is Dimir.
Yeah. So what you guys can picture that there's a bit of like a small bit of rubble that has fallen, and what you're traveling through, just as a reminder to everyone, and just to let Jeff know, you can picture if there was the same, soaring spires of Ravnica, the same sort of crafted things, but then it somehow underwent some kind of devastation or devastating event that left all the buildings collapsed and crashed and whatnot, and then flooded afterwards, and then cast underground. That is where you find yourself. That's what you find yourself traveling through. Is like this could have been, thousands of years ago, a thriving part of the city, like any other part of the city, full of all sorts of people pursuing all sorts of aspects of life. But right now, it's just this cavernous, empty, dead city, and buried as well too. So very much a kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? A sepulchral city almost. So you can picture that in the shadow of all of that stuff, with this little, beams, little, islands of light that you guys have from your that you have from the what do you call it? The boats, and from your various spells. I can't remember if any of you activated a cantrip or something like that to create light. But as everyone sort of, I thought so, yeah. Okay, so
Kabobo has remember, I don't know if you remember, he has like an angel on the top of his staff, and that's
he
casts
got lit?
Light on it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think that while you guys are everyone is sort of catching their breath and getting themselves recovered, getting caught up, Volkos, who you may remember is from the Boros Legion, Volkos sort of gets close to you, Vasul, and says, "Might we have a word?"
Yeah.
So he tries to inconspicuously make his way, to sort of away between the, Loxodon bard and the pyromancer. You may not be surprised to learn that it's a little hard for them to be inconspicuous. So if any of you want to try and eavesdrop on this, you can. You just will need to make a stealth check. Just to avoid getting spotted by them. But he's going to try and kind of pull you over, back to one of the boats near the edge of the water. And he says, tell me, did the creatures seem to focus on you?
No. I had the impression they focused on drowning us, slowing us down.
I could very well be imagining things, but I truly could have sworn that it was me that they were going for. They seemed quite intent. Make no mistake, I rained fire on them, so I can see why they would want that ended. But I distinctly felt that they came from me. Did you see them?
Yeah.
Your friend, and he sort of, gestures towards the Minotaur. He puts a little bit of bite on the word friend.
Yeah. Yeah, he fought valiantly, so no reason for suspicion there.
The way in is the way to access the tower is with all three of us. If any one of us were not to arrive, we would not gain access. You did not feel yourself or the Minotaur targeted?
I'm just now puzzled as a player. Wasn't the three Dimir, Gruul, and Azorius?
I think they are... Is it Azorius, Dimir, and Gruul? Oh, you're right. Yeah, that's what it is. So it was the Dimir. Sorry, it was the Dimir character who was being targeted. The monk guy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeva. Is it Yeva? No, not Yeva. Evada.
Okay.
I burned them off of him again and again.
Yeah. I don't understand. So I just fear for the life of your men who are guarding the tower. I mean, if these creatures can attack us here, more or less in the open, how much force can we expect right over there or within there?
I trust that my men will hold the tower for us, and without us, they cannot gain access. But if they had us,
okay.
In any event, what do you make of the goblin's story? That she knew nothing of this.
It seemed reasonable to me. She was attacked as well and hurt, and probably could have been killed.
You don't think that was play acting?
Since I healed her, I know that the wounds were real. So, I mean, she could have inflicted them on herself, but I doubt that.
Then, perhaps I'm being overly cautious, but we are in enemy territory. And that kind of thinking seems called for. In any event, if you see anything, or think anything, and he sort of, hits you in the shoulder. He's much shorter than you are. So he's really sort of like, Yes?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he turns and goes back and starts, barking commands to his some of his troops. Kabobo, Trovic, and Iago, you of course would have seen this happen. I think in particular, Trovic, you've got a pretty decent perception score, don't you?
Yeah, it's I gotta close all these windows. My perception, it's 3. It's
only 3. Okay, for some reason I know Vasul's is quite high.
Yeah, since 13 is passive perception.
14, so Iago.
13 is passive perception, but someone might have higher.
So this is, it's only been a short bit of time. There's still quite a bit of travel that is still ahead of you guys. First off, is there anything, while you guys are having a moment to catch your breath with the other representatives from the guilds, is there anything you guys wish to do? Or some of you guys are still banged up as well. I think that, let's see here. Let me double check the classes for these guys.
Well, yeah, I can heal some people too. I wasn't here, so.
Oh, sure, yeah. Do you want to make use of any of your healing stuff here? Vasul's down to 25 out of 43. Trovic is down to 40 out of 50, and Iago's down to 14 out of 23. Let me make it so you guys can actually... Oh, can you see the numbers on each other's?
I can see them.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I can heal, but I've obviously used quite a few spells, and we obviously haven't rested yet, so I don't...
I mean, I have my healing light, so I'll just use 1 dice on each of them.
Oh, this is a short rest as well, too, and we're using the... you don't need to take an hour. It's only 5 minutes. So if you guys want to spend any further hit dice, you guys have that
Do
opportunity.
I get my healing light back at a short rest?
I actually don't know. I think so.
It just
Warlocks
doesn't
tend to
say on this
recycle.
little thing.
Yeah, Warlock seems to... Oh, which one is it? You got the...
It's healing light. It's the... Sorry,
Yeah, I think that's from Xanathar's. I've got that right here.
Oh, yeah, I just don't have the book right here. The little blurb that it put in there doesn't say.
Yeah.
Because if it does, then I'll just use them all. Like, if we're going to take a rest, I'll just
Yeah.
burn the resource and
Okay.
give 2d6 to each
Divine
guy.
Soul.
So, meanwhile, I would just share what I just learned with Iago and Trovik.
Oh, no, it says long rest. Okay, I see it.
Okay.
Okay, I found it. So I'll just do a d6 each.
Okay.
So Iago, yeah, 5, Trovik, 3, and 5 for...
Nice.
That's
Now,
cool.
I can't remember. Is there an ability you've got that augments your healing as well, too? There's some of those healing devoted ones. They get a little buff to all their healing abilities. Let's see here.
I don't think I have any healing feats or anything that increased it.
Oh, so it's just radiant damage is what you get, actually. At 6th level, next level, you'll get Radiant Soul. Whenever you cast a spell that does radiant or fire damage, you add your charisma modifier to 1 radiant or fire damage roll.
Cool.
So as is always the case, instead of healing, the warlock damages. So, anything else you guys wish to do? You got some healing that was spread around there. Sorry, Trovik got how much?
3.
3 for Trovik.
Yep.
Yeah,
And then
and 5 for each of the others.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're healed by 5 there, Iago.
Oh.
Okay. Then, what is there anything else you guys wish to do? Before you guys head out.
I would share the thing that I would just inform the others that the Boros Legion suspects that 3 of the clans involved in this tower were the targets also. And Trovik and Iago were there, and it did not seem that these things attacked me. So
I think
Yeah,
they're
they
equal
complicated.
opportunity bad guys.
yeah, or Trovik or something. So
Okay.
I mean, not that it didn't matter. They're at the bottom of the lake now.
He snorts. All right. So then, if there's nothing else you guys wish to do, we can set out again. So you guys get back in that same formation, and as you guys are traveling along, you reach. It's less of the like wide open, like a subsurface ocean or lake that you had been traveling through for the first couple of hours, and it is much more a matter of like winding through these, former streets or pathways. There's once or twice where you guys can see like there's half-formed skywalks that would have when these towers were standing would have like allowed passengers to go back and forth between them. Mm-hmm. What you can pick up from them, let's see here, anyone have history as a trained skill? First, let's make sure that is a skill in
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah, I do.
yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I
why don't you,
suppose.
each of you guys give us a history check, please. Nice, okay.
Wait,
13, and then
history is here.
22. Wowzers. So Vasul, you're making your way through this. As you guys are going along, I think you can't help but, in spite of maybe the suggestion from Trovic to like keep your eyes, keep yourself alert, keep your eyes on the shadows. Instead, you are taking in the ruins that are around you. Yes, you guys are all in the same boat, both literally and figuratively. What you can pick up from this is they are all very. The buildings are definitely dilapidated and destroyed, and suffering from centuries of neglect. But the design and the aesthetics of the ruins are definitely something from the very, very early period of like dating back perhaps to either shortly after or shortly before the Guild Pact. You think afterwards, because Azorius did not have the Azorius Senate and the Boros Legion weren't in a formal arrangement or formal kind of alliance until that point, and with the other guilds running rampant, it was hard to build things that lasted for a substantial amount of time. But this stuff definitely has a feel of the ancient and the oldest of the Azorius structures. Perhaps the guild seat in the center of Precinct 10. That may be something closest to it. Otherwise, as is the case, while the Azorius tend to cling to tradition, there still is a desire on the part of the more inventive and the artistic to try and express things in a more, of the time way. This stuff is ancient. Mm-hmm. So this may have been some of the first structures built either shortly before or shortly after the Guild Pact. You can also pick up that there is graffiti, which is often, the case. The Simic Combine and the the Golgori Swarm in particular often make use of the more rambunctious and the more troublemaking kinds. Often make use of organisms that can dissolve stone to create effectively carved graffiti. And you can see that there are markings of that, and they're not quite as old, but definitely they date from around, they've been here for a very long time, and you can see some have been like burned over each other, and there are competing sort of markings or tags, as it were, for the different guilds. For those two in particular, which is maybe not a surprise.
It could be thousands of years old, 9,000 years or something. Yeah, absolutely.
Like this stuff. If you do point it out to Dr. Cardinal, he may have some more, because his he may have more experience with engineering and such. He may be able to identify more about the wearing of the stone. But that's your sense, is that this at one point may have been an early enclave for the Azorius, or at least a part of what the Azorius were expanding out with the assistance of the Boros, because there is that solid element to some of the buildings as well. Noticeably absent is any other guild.
So what do I make of that?
To be honest, not much. With a 13, this is old for sure, and I think you can probably tell that it's not. If Vasul points it out to you, you can give us... Sure, why don't you give us a check with the engineering tools and your intelligence, please.
I think you mean Tinker's tools. Or maybe I'll go over and have an investigate, just pull the boat over for a couple of minutes.
I was rewatching the last session, just to remind myself of what everything that had happened. And I remember I heard myself comment about how this is really 5th edition is your game, Mo, because you keep rolling nat 20s with it. And here we go again.
Well.
So what you can tell is, in fact, Iago, if you maybe like get the the boat over a little closer to take a look at the stuff. And this is not like the first one you come across, but one of the ones you can actually see there are still remnants, lingering remnants of the living organisms that are in there. And if you examine them, perhaps you might even be able to tell what was used to tag this stuff. It's coming from one that is, it marked the, like there's a head that is partially submerged in the water. Perhaps the top of a statue, or maybe just like it's something that was attached to a building at some point. But in the center, like right where the eyes would be, there's a scoured marking of the Simic Combine. And it appears that there may be some, with that nat 20, there may be some living things in there. If you could set up your equipment and take a look, you might even be able to learn, like pinpoint precisely how long and how old the stuff has been. Typically what it's designed to do is to like burn for a certain length of time, and then it stops. It dies.
Yeah, so it's like a...
It's like, honestly, like a magical, fungus-based phosphorus, kind of.
So I can't really set up tools in a boat, but can I take a sample and maybe look at it later?
Absolutely, yeah. So you guys get in there and you can see, like, Professor is leaning well out of the boat and kind of like, oh, let me just get a little... And scraping this stuff off. Kabobo, you can see that, well, I guess what are you doing during this time? You've got, Rip is obviously invisible next to you, and then there is, where is he here? I have your companion. No, that's Ostrovak. Where is he?
I think Kabobo is just trying to watch everybody, and he's hoping that he can, maybe find some ways to help fissure the guilds a little. Like he's trying to make opportunity for Orzhov to sort of restore order and use it to sort of claim more of the value of this loot, if there's something valuable down here or something to be gained. So he's kind of trying to at this point observe everybody and see where the friction is between the guilds, and maybe where he can create a little opportunity for Orzhov to come in with some order when needed.
So
I think that he's just trying not to make a big scene of himself. Plus his wife's already done that for, sort of drawn some attention. So
do you recall the name of your ghost? Did we give him a name yet?
Oh, might be on my character sheet. Bio. Oh, I just have silent spirit that follows you around. I think you did give it a name, but I don't remember it. It's been really long since we played that session.
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's check my notes, see if I scrabbled something down.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I don't see him. Do you have a name in mind for him?
No, but I could think of one.
How about Razir?
Razir, sure.
Okay. So I asked because I have an image of Razir now. And I think that you may be, deep in thought or whatever, or just sort of observing what's going on and looking for opportunities, when you can see out of the corner of your eye, as the Iago is scraping, or Dr. Iago, forgive me, Dr. Cardinal, scraping stuff down from that sample. You can see very briefly that Razir appears sort of out across the water, and then, he has that same disapproving look for you, and then sort of becomes transparent, and you can see that your eyes meet Mizix's eyes. She seems to be looking over in your direction, and then tries to, look away. Why don't you give us a insight check, please?
I'm terrible at those. I love
it. Nothing better than making characters do things they're bad at.
Yeah.
All right, so, it's tough to judge. You don't know what to make of her,
No, he thinks for sure she still thinks he's you know, of course she's looking at me. I'm handsome, right? It's like all these ugly, you know, minotaurs and centaurs and humans. Of course, I would draw her eye in a place like this.
All right.
Maybe he fixes his little shock of hair a little bit.
Yeah. So as once you get your sample, you carry on. Dr. Cardinal, you speed the boat up a little bit to kind of catch up to everyone else and continue on. Still another couple of hours until you reach your destination. There's another point where you are sort of passing through a what probably once was a park or a city square. You can't see terribly far ahead of you, but just you can still see, those of you with better dark vision can see the larger forms up ahead. But why don't I think actually, Vasul, you got that advantage with scent, right?
Yes.
So you guys are about a third of the way out into this thing, kind of making your way across the open area. You can smell something. It's also someone who's saying hi to their pet. You can smell something. It smells like, it's cooking. It's cooking fish.
Okay. Is someone cooking fish over here?
You look around. It's not in the boat, and a quick, a quick look at the other boats is definitely not there either. I
smell fire or roast or something like that.
No, it's just the fish.
No, it's just fish.
Just fish. You can smell it. It's the smell of fish cooking.
Fish cooking.
Do you want to try and pinpoint where that is? Where it's coming from?
Yeah, I can.
Sure. Give us with advantage. Give us a perception check. Dr. Iago, Dr. Cardinal, and Kabobo, you guys can both make a perception check as well too. It's gonna be higher for difficulty for you guys. Actually, that's not true. It's just gonna be high, full stop, and it's easier for Vasul. Okay.
Yeah.
Nat 20. All right, now you're just showing off, Mo. Come on.
3 nat 20s.
Oh my goodness.
Roll 20 is treating me until our games next week. Then
or it's until we get into combat, and then it'll just abandon me. All right, so Carl, you can go ahead and make a perception check if you'd like as well. There's a scent that Vasul has picked up. I mean, you got to beat 2 nat 20s, but all right. So Dr. Iago, or not Dr. Iago, Dr. Cardinal, I think with a nat 20, here's what you get on top of that, is that this is, you're like, what is that? Is that citrus pepperfish? And citrus pepperfish is a very specific, here's something, this is quite some time ago, like before what's his name? Nicholas Bolas came and caused all this destruction, like when the Guild Pact was still in its original form. You attended a conference with a bunch of scientists from different disciplines, including members of the Simic Combine. And there's a favored food that they've got. They breed these things so that all you need to do is just kind of toss them up on a grill, and then they'll cook up, and they require no seasoning or whatnot. And you were shocked by this. So it's been like 30 years or 40 years since you've smelled this thing, and perhaps that's why it's so distinctive. And I'll give you a little bit of extra information for that nat 20 as well. I mean, like any good scientist, the Simic Combine have developed chemical, or chemically driven, or magically chemically driven, I guess, stoves. Things that can be used without, if you say wanted to watch on people and not announce your arrival, with a bright light, you can make use of those chemicals instead. So what do you make? What do we see? That's all the information that, and you can see Vasul's got his trunk up and is trying to sniff at the air, but can't seem to get locate the scent. Iago, you can not only do you know precisely where it is, it's like it's got to be right up to the right there.
Okay, I'll lean forward in the boat and quietly say, I think there's someone up there watching out. I'll try to be discreet, so it's not like I'm standing up saying, there. It's like over there. And maybe I'll just.
So let's just hold on. I think that's an excellent plan. But let's remember who your character is, the way you've described your character.
Oh yeah. Yes. Should I roll to see whether I just? Oh,
no,
look,
you feel free to
there.
role play him however you want. It's just with you, the way you've described your character is as what's his name, the old guy from Fringe, right?
Yeah. He'll say, "Oh, pepper fish. Oh, I remember that." And he says, "Oh, it's lovely." And he'll sort of look over towards where I think they are.
Okay. So, Vasul, you can see Dr. Cardinal seems to be paying attention quite closely to this region up there. And now that you've got the benefit of him, let's go ahead and give us one more roll here. Actually, I think Iago can pinpoint it with a nat 20. He's able to pinpoint for you precisely where, where this is, and you can locate it. It's like from where you guys are, you can't quite see it. But you can tell that there's that building looming around this park, or buildings around this park. It's got to be up there somewhere.
Yeah. Probably we should go there first, just to check who's having fish over there. I mean, it seems like someone is living here.
It's interesting because we thought this was deserted, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they know something about this area, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you start pulling away, you can hear, I think it is Volkos again who shouts back, "What are you doing? Hey, stay in formation."
Yeah. We have some fish.
There's someone
to eat.
over here.
Yeah.
What? So and he turns, like, "Stop the boats, pull them into formation." Sorry, he's getting everyone else into kind of a formation as you guys are. Boom, 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 boom. And you can picture that like this is a completely darkened area. So you guys are going away from the other like 3 or whatever boats that are together. Like as you approach this thing out of the darkness, this massive looming another one of these torn structures. Or broken structures, it lies before you. And as you get in closer, Dr. Cardinal and Vasul, you can definitely smell that. Trovic, you got a 5, so you can't. And Kaboba, once you get in close, you know what they're talking about. You're like, your mouth is watering a bit.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Mm-hmm. So, you're looking up. There's no sign of any light or anything like that up there. And it's probably about you from where you guys are to where you think that the odor is coming from. It's definitely at least like 2 or 3 stories above. The building itself has got to go like 20. What are you guys thinking?
Call them out, Trovic.
The outside of the structure is all shattered and broken too, so it's like almost like a either like in construction or broken skyscraper.
Is there a spot where we could sort of nose the boat up to it and maybe get inside an unflooded floor?
Yeah, it's gonna be a little like it's partially collapsed, so it's gonna have that slight tilt to it. But you may be able to navigate your way around once you find a way up, and I think that you could easily find a set of stairs.
We'll just check that they're stable before we go in.
Trovic, you grew up in the Red Wastes, so this the outside of this is something that would easily be scalable for someone like you as well.
Cool.
Does someone need to stay with the boat?
We just tied up.
Shit.
Okay, so what do you guys wish to do then?
Make our way out.
Okay. Now, are you all staying together in one group going through the interior of the building, or are you guys splitting up?
No, I think we should stay together.
I'll tie off the boats because I've got some rope with me, so I'll just tie off the boats to the point where we're putting it in.
Sure.
Kabobo will stay close to the 2 big guys.
I'll call back to the others. We're just going to investigate this. Give us like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, you're shouting back to Volkos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do any of you have any like message or anything like that? Just I'm wondering if your characters will probably know about that, so you would be able to transmit a message without shouting across this thing, because it's going to echo out like, you know.
I don't have any message.
No. Okay.
No, nothing like that.
Okay. So you shout that out, and it kind of echoes across. And any of you who are more stealthy inclined, kind of cringe at the sound of this echoing off all the walls. So then, is there anything? Tell me about how you guys wish to kind of approach this place to track down this scent. Do you guys wish to use any spells? Are you trying to be sneaky? Do you give a shit about being sneaky?
No, we could try to be sneaky. Might not work. But I'd say we want to see what's going on before we announce ourselves.
Okay. So here's how I think we'll treat this stealth check. The person with the worst stealth score will roll with advantage.
I have a +2.
+1.
3.
2.
Okay, Vasul.
Vasul.
The well-known stealth of elephants. Now
Oh my god!
17 though.
Now you guys have 8 points of astonishing fortune. You can
Well, you said
spend
with advantage though, right?
Oh, it's with advantage. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So it's 17. So you do have, but it's worth noting, you do have 8 points of astonishing fortune. You can spend 2 points to re-roll a roll. You can spend 1 point to roll with advantage. So take it.
I mean, just to be the clumsy elephant in the room, I maybe have accidentally hit my bagpipe. So
Yes. Oh man. So yeah, as you're getting ready, that kind of goes off a very slight amount, but once you guys get moving, you guys are easily able to keep yourself quite stealthy. This place has been. It seems abandoned again for this is like walking through a tomb. There's very little left in the way of any kind of sign of living. There's no furniture or anything like that. Just the bare structures that once set up this place. And there are at a couple of points there are very, very old and faded graffiti. As you get to the floor where you think you can smell this, you guys can, as you're creeping up, the only sense that is at play right now is your scent. You can smell that. You do not hear anything as you approach the sound. And what you realize is, and I think Iago, maybe you've naturally got this sort of, and Trovic, both of you have sort of a natural. Iago, you'd be able to naturally sort of keep track of where things are in the building. Trovic, you're used to wandering around the broken remnants of Ravnica, or the Ravnican civilization, so you don't get lost or turned around in ruins very easily. But you're actually coming back to an overlook that would be looking out over that open park. Anything I should know as you guys are approaching where the source of the scent is? No? So who is the first one who will make their way up to this door leading into the room then?
Are we knocking? Are we just open? Are we opening this quietly?
This structure is far past the survival of doors. It's all open frame, so you're sort of you're making your way along this once glorious, stone walkway or some kind of like magical concrete, hallway that leads up to a room that will have a view of the park.
I think seeing a friendly minotaur is the best impression we are going to make. So,
you know what? Because let me think here. Kabobo, you've got dark vision, and is that it, or does Vasul have dark vision? No, we've done that. And Trovic, come here, you don't?
No, I did not.
Right. Have I mentioned how much I love 5th edition? It's No dark vision for anybody. So then, actually, you guys are traveling along with Kabobo staff lit or a Dr. Cardinal's, light source, whatever that is, or both. So
Yeah, I assume.
Yeah, so then I guess you guys would. The reason I mention that is because you guys would be aware that your light might make them aware. Is there anything you want to say before your light kind of trickles down the hallway, or are you just going to go up and try and get there, confront whoever's there?
Well, maybe Trovic should go up front. He's quite imposing, so they'll be less likely for fights if they see him.
Well, and probably the way Kabobo's holding the light, he could sort of hold it behind Trovic and make him seem even bigger because I'm so small, and holding this light sort of behind him makes him look even more imposing.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so Trovic, you get yourself ready. You're remembering, grappling with that slimy flying thing earlier today.
Yep.
You guys make your way up to the, you make your way up to the entrance, Trovic, and you look in. And what you can see is a small camp. There is a small, circular globe type thing, an iron globe that is set up on a tripod, or not tripod, like on a some kind of apparatus with a what do you call it, a pole or beam or whatnot across it. And you can see that the smells and the sound of kind of cooking fish is coming from that. It looks as if there are at least maybe the sleeping quarters, you'd guess, of about 4 or 5 things in here. Mm-hmm. The materials for everything that's in here are all aquatic and natural. So it's like beds that seem to be made out of some kind of seaweed that's been woven together. There is a little bit of some personal effects that are here, bags that seem to seal off, and you would think you saw something similar on one of the flying beings that attacked you guys from before. Mm-hmm. And a couple of small little it looks like another oil sealed sack of some kind that seemed to be, looks like it would be able to carry something heavier. There's something heavy in there. It's sort of like the underwater equivalent of a shipping crate. But no sign of any people.
Okay.
What do you guys wish to do?
So does Trovic tell us there's no one in there? Because if he does, I'll sort of go in and start having a look.
Yep. Does this go in?
Yeah, okay. I will start investigating the. Presumably, it's almost like a camping stove.
Yeah, maybe you head over. It's exactly what you remember, and as you open it up, you're like, "Oh, citrus pepperfish," and it's sort of like, if you can picture a cross between the soft bits of a snail and a trout. That's what this thing looks like. It does smell quite tasty, though. And there are...
So does it look like it's overcooked, or it's been...
No. It looks like it's in
that case, the people put this on the stove must be nearby.
There are 2 of them on the grill, and it looks like the grill could accommodate a lot more. You can picture this thing. It's probably about the diameter is about those old school barbecues that are the circular thing where you put all the coals inside, and it's got the tripod that it stands on. It's kind of like that size. So it's only 2 of these fish, and again, they're about the size of trout. So maybe yay.
Mm-hmm.
So Iago, is it Simic?
Yes, yeah. This is one of their dishes.
So either this is Renegade Simic or the Simic Combine did not tell us the whole truth.
Well, I mean, guilds have factions within them. I'm sure you're aware of that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't get sent to Coventry for 30 years by anyone else other than my other guildmates.
One of the things you would know as well is that during that period when the Guild Pact was not in effect. It's not just the other, like the non-guilders in Ravnica that sort of shook things up. It was also like members of the guild who were no longer saw power in the guild. There was weakening and fractures and whatnot within the guilds themselves. Like Ravnica itself, although like the source book only covers a very, very small region, it's described as being an entire planet-sized city.
Yeah.
Right? So there's billions of people who occupy Ravnica, and within each of those things, when you suddenly don't have the magical hammer to keep everyone in line of like, this is the only way to power, suddenly people start jockeying for other things. Once the Guild Pact came back into effect, a lot of them kind of came in line, but with the change, I guess, to the Guild Pact, that didn't change the sore feelings that many of these sort of renegades had.
Mm-hmm. So,
how long does it look like someone's been living here? Like you said, it kind of looks like a little camp. Like, does it look like a day or two, or does it look like they've been here a while?
There is a marking on the wall that has scoured a small symbol of the Simic Combine, and it looks as fresh as the one that Iago found. And so this is something, it appears, where people may have, been living here for a while.
This may just be their home down here.
Well, it's not a permanent residence. Like, it doesn't have any of the... unless these people live quite rough. This is like an encampment. I'm trying to think of... Trovik, you would probably recognize it as such. Like, this is if you're wandering around and you're maybe part of a reconnoitering group, this is sort of what you might set up as a home base to come back to. It's got some comforts to it the way a campsite would, but it's not somewhere you would live permanently.
I'm going to have a look at this container that was over to one side.
Yep. So you pull that thing back, and it has effectively like a tarp made out of some kind of seaweed over it. It's mostly dry. Actually, it's completely dry at this point. So you sort of pull it back, and the way that the thing opens up is through. It's like an organic kind of capsule that just has a muscle reaction. You hit something that kind of opens up and reveals whatever's within. You do that, and what you can see within, in kind of little bundles that are sealed up with like a very, very thin bit of wire, or not wire, of webbing. It's all sealed off, and there's about 6 packages of this stuff. Each of the packages is about like maybe yay by yay. And it's some kind of like a like blue brownish resin of some kind. If you'd like to try and identify what it is, I think that you've got Detect Magic as a cantrip, right?
Yeah.
Is Detect Magic a cantrip in this game? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
Or is it a...
No, it's a spell, I think, and I don't have it
I think you can use
memorized.
Arcana in any event to try and... Yeah, it's a ritual, though.
First level ritual, yeah.
Yeah, so you could spend
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes and
Oh,
just...
yeah, I can cast it as a ritual then if we want to spend
Do you have
10
it
minutes.
prepared? You have to have it prepared in order to use it as a ritual.
No, sorry, I don't.
Okay.
We'd have to take it away and do it tomorrow, maybe.
Does anyone else have... well, I mean, ritual, that would give you, if there's any magical properties to it, you could still make, I think, an Arcana check if you like.
Okay, I'm quite happy to do that. So if I spend 10 minutes
Sure.
Arcana-ing it?
Arcana-ing it. Oh, man. Okay. This is... So, yeah. This is another thing that you are familiar with. This is another product of Simic engineering. This is something that is excreted by one specific type of their... I think they're called Crasics. Whatever, they're one of their biological engines that they make use of. But what is most important about this, and I imagine as you're explaining this to your fellow the other guild members. You're burying the lead. This is a powerful explosive.
Oh yeah, so I'd probably spend 5 minutes talking about its properties and then say, yeah, it's a bit reactive.
Yeah.
So
this is.
Do I know what triggers the reaction? Is it a shock or a? Does it require
there's sort of a
like...
magical trigger. Like you use a magical trigger, or you could use. So it's got a maybe like an electric jolt would set off the actual thing. You know, and this is certainly any one of these bricks is powerful enough to start to bring down a structure. The way that
maybe that's what was used to collapse the ceiling on us.
Definitely, this stuff would get the job done, and there are 6 bricks of it here.
Yeah, well, that might be worth taking with us.
Yeah.
Useful in future.
Explosives. Okay.
Can we just? I mean, it's a bit too easy, I say to the other ones. So
But
we just find it here. I mean, come on.
Well, someone put those fish on the stove. Not that
Yeah,
so
and
where are they?
they were maybe aware that we would smell it. It's just who leaves these kinds of clues in the open? I mean, come on.
What
Do you
is it,
think the
Dave?
Simic are being set up?
Yes.
Possible, or it may
Yeah,
be there's only like one.
if you said there's a trigger, then could they remotely trigger it? Like we put it on our boats and then kaboom.
Yeah, can I check whether there is something set up as a detonator or whatever the magical equivalent would be?
Sure. You take a look over this thing, and just carrying forward from your Arcana result from before, doesn't appear to be.
No, there's no like little thing with a red.
No,
can
there's
out.
no
Right.
like little, what they would use is some kind of biological
Bioluminescent thing
Yeah.
that sort of tips down. Yeah.
Well, while this has been happening, Kabobo wants to search around and see if there's anything else left, like a journal or a scroll or a note or something, like,
Or tracks.
yeah, like search their bed areas and their
So why don't you
encampment
give us
for-
an investigate is a skill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, give us an investigate check. Oh, man. All right, so Kabobo, you start taking a look around here, and I think you're able to, well, like, if you're turning your mind to carefully taking an inventory of what's here, you can find that there are a total of 9, what do you call it? 9 like sleeping pads, as it were. And again, it seems like this is a campsite that people have made regular use of. You can see little bits of, there's an area where there's some bones that are left over, no doubt from people eating meals together. There is a, you're not sure if it's a stone that's been, well, I guess there's drag marks for where one piece of rubble has been pulled to close to the edge. Because if you get to the edge and look down, I mean, you've got a wonderful vantage for looking down at the park from here. You can see, you're from where you are, you could easily see down to where Volkos has set up that kind of like cordon or whatever of all the like ringing the wagons, as it were.
Yeah.
If you were trying to monitor the passage of things through an area, this would be an excellent region for it, or excellent place for it. There's a small little, like, there are traveling supplies in here too, although like ones that you're not familiar with. It's the kind that the Simic Combine would use to be traveling underwater. And you may not have direct experience with them, but there are merfolk that live in the depths of the depths of Ravnica, and then also in some of the larger sonats, or zonats, is that what it's called? The big storage areas where the Simic Combine create their things. It's very similar to some of the supplies that that they would be living with, or the things they would be traveling. Imagine like a overland traveling group, but merfolk.
Yeah.
The other thing you find is near the fire. I think one thing with a roll that good that you're able to deduce While Iago has left the thing open and you can smell those citrus pepperfish, maybe that's what draws your attention back. You can see that there is a fork, like a fork made out of some kind of bone, right next to where that thing is that's been dropped to the ground. And if you look carefully, it looks like someone was, things have been pushed back and scrambled. Someone may have been in the midst of making a meal, and then suddenly have to toss things aside.
Right.
Like, you don't have survival will be the thing you'd use to track people, to try and like find tracks, but it has the sort of apparent look of, like, you know, in it's coming home and finding someone, you know, or going into a home and finding someone suddenly called away while in the midst of doing something.
Right.
This is leaving an iron on, you know, while you're called away. This is, you know, a pot of food left on the stove.
So I would point those things out to everyone here, you know, sort of. I think we've literally caught them in the middle of eating their dinner. And if I had to guess, I would lean towards these being merfolk creatures, or merfolk.
And they took off when they heard us?
I think so. And knowing merfolk, they could have even dove from this vantage point down into the water while we were coming up through the building.
Yeah, should we just call them back?
If they're here to sabotage us, I doubt they will return.
Does anyone have training in survival?
No.
No.
No, okay.
No, but are you sure they were trying to sabotage us?
Well, we found the
maybe
bricks
they
of
are just
explosive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe they were just trying to defend their territory now. I mean, this was underwater, so it must be like their land.
What was it that creature said to you, Trovik, before it disappeared?
Let me see if I wrote it down. I don't know if I remembered. No, I don't recall. I was berserking at the time. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, you did refer to you referenced it at the end of last session. What it was that this is not your. I think it was effectively not your domain.
Oh.
I'll actually say that container, does it look like it had other spaces for extra slabs of explosive?
Like what's in there? No, but the bag that it came in, that tarp that was over it, it looks like it could have accommodated another one of those living kind of canisters.
So they may have actually set something already.
Yeah, I mean, I just would rather like to talk to them before we fight them in the open, because if we are going by boat, they're in the advantage.
Well, they're not going to come up, if they are merfolk, they're not going to come onto dry land to fight us. And there's obviously not a large people group here. There was one or two fish, so there may just be scouts. So they may have gone off to get reinforcements, I think.
You do know the things you faced before were most certainly not merfolk. They were altered beings, similar to other members of the Simic Combine.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe this is like their kind of underwater, I don't know, zone where they keep their creatures.
Possibly.
This whole region has been untouched for thousands of years, right? Like this whole area has been sort of turned, the surface at least has been turned over to the Gruul, and it seems as if the Gruul have any interest in exploring beneath the surface. The Boros Legion may say that, well, it's only because they just keep fighting amongst themselves, but the Gruul, they may have a reason for having not gone below the surface.
So this is like a room. Is there any adjoining rooms, or is
there probably is. That doesn't seem that whoever was occupying here made use of that other room.
Well, I don't know. I suggest we go back to the others, report, and then continue on carefully. Because we're not going to be able to go underwater and track them if they are merfolk.
There is some dried food in here as well, unless you are a very adventurous gourmand. You may not want to eat it, but and I don't think you guys are short of any food supplies at this point. But you are free to take that.
I'm quite tempted to take the barbecue with us, though.
I mean, it's quite hot right now, but I mean, I think you can probably find a way to work around that if you like.
Would you rather steal their food? Come on.
I don't know. If you're hungry.
Yeah, if we are hungry. I mean, if you are hungry and you want to eat it, okay. But just stealing food for no obvious reason, just to keep it with you, I'm not sure. Seems impolite to me.
Dr. Cardinal spares one longing look at the citrus pepper fish sizzling on the grill.
Assuming it is nice, I'm just going to cut a little couple of chunks out of it and have some.
So I think, Kabobo, you see that fork that you saw, Dr. Cardinal looks on, and picks up this thing and then scoops up, and there are, in the, not far from where the thing is, there's a hollowed out shell. Scoops up, puts it down in there, and Dr. Iago Dr. Cardinal starts, noshing into this food. And you can't, in your mind's eye with your investigation, you're just picturing, this is clearly what someone was intending on doing. From where everything is easily set up here.
Yeah.
So, after that's done, are we going to just, leave now?
Yeah.
Are you done eating their lunch?
Yeah. So I think we'll pack up the stove, because that would be useful. I could always use an extra heat source in the lab.
Well, you do need the fuel then, because it's again, it doesn't just burn stuff in here, right?
No, in that case, no, I won't. But I will take the explosives with us, I think.
Okay. What's your strength again?
I have a carry of...
That was what your strength score is, all I'm interested in.
14.
Okay, no, you gets over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's under my carry limit, though.
Okay.
So I would just leave a paper that the food was required by the Azorius Senate under order to provide whatever for our expedition, and so they are free to reclaim a compensation at the next Azorius station for, I don't know, and sign it and leave it there.
You put underneath the plate with the remnants of Dr. Cardinal's lunch.
What I can also do is use my magical tinkering to leave a static visual effect appears on an object surface. I'll probably leave a stylized ISIT logo and say 5 out of 5 stars at the bottom. I'll probably do it over their mark. I'll just put the ISIT one over the top.
Okay. Trovik, you're beginning to have a newfound... I'll leave it to you to decide if it's respect or not, but it appears that Cardinal is doing what, some conquerors do. Appear in your enemy's camp, eat their food, then taunt them.
I'm counting coup, I suppose, in that sense.
Yeah.
So... You guys make your way back to your boat without any incident, and then take off and meet up with Volkos. Once you come into view, he kind of calls out, "And do we have any worry?"
Well, I'll say there was a watch post up there, and they look like they might be merfolk, and there's definitely Simic, because they had their logo up there.
What makes you think it would be merfolk?
Well, that was what we were speculating.
That's just what Kabobo thought.
Well, again, the materials, they weren't merfolk materials. They were similar to what merfolk were. The reason I mentioned about the merfolk is just to give you context for that you would understand them. It seems similar to the gear that merfolk would use. So the supplies and whatnot that merfolk would use would be easily usable underwater and would be suited to that purpose. These are similar to that, but not crafted by merfolk.
Oh, well, just that's the only thing that Kabobo would know.
Sure.
not that so maybe he's wrong, but that's just what right? He's just like, it was similar to, maybe that's the way he worded it. This is similar to Merfolk.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just what.
Okay.
Yeah, they also had some explosives, and there was some missing from their stash, so there may well be another.
Let me just to calm things down. So we were not aware that those are really Simic items, and these explosives could be explosive or could be not. They are magical utensils, and we have kept them safe now. So everything is under control, and we can move on.
You can see like the Volkos is trying to sort of process this stuff as you guys are getting, closer, and then he stop where you are. So if you guys comply with that, he says, you are bringing explosives into the caravan.
No, who said explosives?
He points at Dr. Cardinal.
Yeah,
there's no detonators, so they're safe. And I'll sort of pull one out and just like tap it.
Yeah, you heard him. Everything is safe.
I mean,
Dr. Cardinal will go into a detailed explanation of how explosives work, and you need a detonator. And
so
then
you start going into the explanation, and Volkos just completely ignores you and starts talking to Vasul. He says, "Are you mad? Do you seek to do the job for them?"
So
there was actually something missing.
Yeah, what exactly do you think their job is?
If their job is to prevent us accessing and taking control of the tower, bringing explosives within the heart of our caravan seems setting them up for an easy one-stroke victory.
I look at him very suspiciously, and I'm not sure. So you say it would have been better to leave the explosives with them?
Why did you not detonate them? Destroy them. Deny the
within
enemy.
a cave? Is this a suicide mission and I was not informed of this?
If you know how these work, why did you not destroy them in the first place?
We have made them safe now. They can't explode right now. Dr. Cardinal just explained it to you in all scientific detail.
You can see he turns and says, "Stay there." He turns and starts talking to some of the other guild members, and there's a bit of back and forth. And in particular, he's talking to Mizzix, it looks like, and she seems to be on the defensive, as it were, in this stuff. There's a lot of like pointing fingers at her as they're talking to her.
Yeah, well, but why? I mean,
yeah, they could charm me, and I could just rip through every single person here very quickly. So, what's the same thing as having explosives?
Could we just so we can hear what he's talking?
Right? I mean, if I go crazy, who knows what happens?
So that's a conversation amongst you guys right now. They're having a chat amongst themselves.
I don't understand that paranoid guy's logic, truth be told.
So he turns back and says, "Are you bringing it with you, or are you disposing of it?"
We can just move along behind you. And then you are safe if you don't think we can handle it.
Then we're agreed. Keep your distance from the rest of the caravan, but keep us in sight. And it says,
I'll also point out there was one of these chunks has been taken out, so there could be another.
No, don't tell him everything. You're just ringing it.
So you see, he's like, "Oh, there's more," and Vasul's trunk wraps around his face like, "Shut up." So the rest of the caravan starts, making its way out, and you guys are able to carry on. So the explosives are near the back of the boat. Kabobo's right at the front.
Yeah. I'll light our way. And he's got his staff out over in front of the boat.
Okay, I'm in the back driving.
Yeah.
Razir
steering.
appears next to you and says, "You know your debt is not exhausted if you die."
Why do you think I'm at the front of the boat?
Disappears again. So, go ahead, Vasul. So,
Yeah, I just remind myself of all the stories of Izets who said, "Well, it is safe," and then they blew up. But let's not think about this right now.
Oh yeah, like this is a regular part of Is It Life is blowing up labs. So it is not a ringing
Yeah, you
endorsement.
probably noticed that Dr. Cardinal's got some shoes that are good for running.
All right, then if there's nothing else you guys wish to say or do or whatnot before you set back on your way, then you leave the smell of the last remaining citrus pepperfish behind and head back off into the darkness. So we're a couple minutes early, but why don't we take our mid-session break right now, and then we'll come back and see what happens next. Okay, so we'll be back momentarily, folks.
We go next one. Come on. You staying there?
So just maybe we can just do some conspirative talk right now. I don't trust this Boros guy. He's the worst.
Yeah. Kabobo doesn't trust anyone so far. Maybe Vasul, you seem to be the most straightforward.
So when we were attacked, this Boros guy was the last one joining the fight after the fight was over. So that's very suspicious.
Very suspicious.
I think they were attacked
what's
separately.
suspicious?
We're just having a conspiracy talk about the Boros guy, Volkos. Vasul doesn't trust him.
Nope.
I wouldn't trust anybody.
No, that's what I said. Kabobo doesn't trust anybody, except maybe Vasul is sort of the one that he's the most trusting of at this point. He definitely thinks Dr. Yago might be the downfall of this entire operation, but not due to any reason than just pure
Especially
accident.
when he's hitting the fungal C4. It's safe as... Come on.
Yeah. It hasn't been. It's not loaded.
yeah.
It's not loaded. Don't worry.
I'm assuming it is like C4, so you literally can just like stab the grenade and it's
That
fine.
may not be a safe assumption.
Well, no, he's not going to do that. But yeah, he knows it's got to be a detonator. Because is it bangs and blowing up things is their bag. So yeah. And obviously he's so it's in a container, isn't it? So we've brought that with us.
Yes, it's in a container, and then it's also in the like seaweed wrap or whatnot that you were carrying the thing around. I mean that seaweed wrap is as tough as like burlaps. It's not all the same thing, and it's not like wet or whatnot. It's quite strong. So then, with you guys back in the boat, it's maybe another 3 hours or so of travel before you reach the point where there is, you can see that up ahead, and it's more of this like winding its way through streets and whatnot. You find the Boros Legion encampment. It's at the base of one of these massive things that seems to be above. They've crafted, probably with the use of magic as well, a kind of like earthen rampart around it, around their encampment. And the other members of the caravan have already arrived. Now, okay. What do you guys wish to? Well, I guess as you're arriving, you can see that Volkos is taking it upon himself to make sure that you are transporting. You're leaving the explosives. He will put a guard contingent on it, but it's getting nowhere inside the encampment, he says. So, as you guys arrive, you're directed sort of like to a point of land that's furthest away. There's probably like a big block near it. And you can see there are members of the Boros Legion carrying torches. 3 of them are humans. One of them is the Viasho, I think they're called. The Viashino. What are the lizard folk called, Jeff, in this? Do you remember?
Yeah, Viashino, I think.
Viashino, okay.
Yeah, I think you're right. They're the...
Yeah, there's one of them that's making their way over. And they're setting up a small place where you guys will be mooring your boat. And then... they will leave your explosives on there, and then they will, keep an eye on it to make sure that the enemy doesn't grab it again.
Is there any chance to talk to this Iveta?
To Iveta? Yes, absolutely. Once you get inside, I'm picturing the inside of the Boros encampment. I may have said this last time, but it's kind of like the like pop-up camps that the Roman Legion would throw up at, like at the end of the day. It's that kind of thing where it's a regimented structure around it. They've got relatively clear line of sight, although they have their back to a massive stone wall that makes up part of the this ruined tower that they are against. It's now been almost 24 hours without sunlight for you guys. I'll let you make of that what you will. But as you're making, everyone is getting settled in, you can see that the different guild members, there's one tent that sort of all the members of the expedition are going to, as opposed to the Legionnaires. And the encampment is as busy. Any of you who have, have been inside a Boros Legionnaire or Boros Legion encampment before, Vessel, you for sure would recognize this as sort of like every one of them is walking around with purpose. Trovik, you definitely feel like you're in the belly of the beast, as it were. You, whether imagined or not, you can feel like every one of these Boros Legionnaires is sort of, casting you a dirty look. And in the encampment, in the large sort of tent that's set up for the guild members, where there are little cots set up for each of you to be in there, you can see that Iveda. Where is he here? Oh, my mouse is going crazy. There we go. He is in there, and maybe like after putting down his things, you can see he's doing a series of stretches and stuff like that. The split just to kind of like loosen up his muscles. Mm-hmm. He's a half elf as well too. The illustration shows human ears, but he is a half elf.
So, Iveta, could we just have a word right now?
Looks in Vasul, of course.
Yeah.
Or. And he kind of like,
I don't care if anyone.
Oh, I say, like, he says here or, and there's a little like smirk that comes up. He is of House Dimir.
Yeah. So, are we having secrets? Well, I guess so. Maybe we could walk away, but I tend to be overheard very, very easily. So,
come with me. So he, you guys start walking along, and you can see he's got a ring on his hand. And as he's walking by, and he moves with like almost a dancer's grace, mm-hmm. and like Vasul, we joke about you being big and whatnot, but like your dexterity is not terrible, right? No. So you're making your way along. You get to the edge of where the encampment is, sort of the entrance in and out, and some of the Boros Legion, they sort of stop and says, "Sirs, it's not safe," and Veda just ignores them and walks past and gestures for you, like, "Come on."
Yeah, okay. I follow him.
As you...
what could go wrong, yeah.
He walks closer to where the edge of the water is, and he's looking around, and you can see he brings his ring up, and he turns it, and what you can see is actually... unseen to the naked eye, there's a segment in the middle of the ring that he turns, and you hear a slight hum as bluish glyphs appear on it, on the top and on the bottom. And he says, "No one will overhear us now. Please, Vasul, okay. What did you wish to discuss? And with such a clandestine nature."
Yeah, it seems to me that maybe our Boros Legion friend is right, and someone is after us. I don't know exactly why, but so it could be that you and me and our Gruul friend are the targets.
They, you mean the attackers from earlier today?
Yeah, it seems that there might be more of them or more of their kind.
I heard you secured some of their weaponry.
Yeah, and I find it very puzzling that we were supposed to leave their weapons to them. I mean, come on, what kind of plan is this?
Have you known Volkos long?
No.
I've not either, but his kind... they seem to have two approaches to things. One is to any form of opposition. One is to destroy it. The second is to destroy it more. So it is unsurprising that his mind only sees things in things he can detonate.
So if we are really under attack, then I suppose it's that someone is playing those Simic creatures. I don't think that the Simic are after us. It's more complicated.
You say after the three. Did you feel yourself? They were quite interested in at the very least, in the boat where I was. The boat I was traveling seemed to get a great deal of attention. I do not know where Volkos seemed certain it was because I was being targeted. as a member of House Dimir, but
Was Mizzix on your boat as well?
she was.
So maybe, I don't know. I think maybe
myself,
someone is
the Dev Kareen Ranger, Yeva, and the Centaur, Radom, of the Conclave. That was the 4 of us. And our boat certainly, or our transport certainly got more attention than the others. Though, from the first sign of attack, Volkos began hurling fire, so perhaps it was unsurprising that creatures of the water wished to avoid him. Did you feel yourself targeted, or the Minotaur?
No, it seemed like an all-out attack, and they weren't specifically interested in one of us. So I don't think they also attacked the Ithad guy and so on. So no.
You know the name Zunak's Tower, the name that we found, the name of this tower.
Yeah, I heard it, but I don't know anything about it, and I could not find out. So.
Would it surprise you to learn that Zunak was a Boros general?
It would surprise me.
I know not what the meaning of it is, but Zunak, in the oldest of the records that we could find, was a noted Boros general, dating from the time of the Pact. A favored, in fact, of the and I just can't remember offhand the name of the angel who signed on behalf of the Legion, but an angelic champion. Curious, don't you think, that the fortress bears the markings of our houses and those of the Gruul, yet carries the name of a Boros general?
Just to make sure, we all heard stories about sealed enclaves where something is secured and it can only be opened by certain members together just to keep safe and keep it in it. Are we sure that this is not one of those things?
I don't know. The names we found, a common name for it as well is the White Fortress. And I've heard tales of that as well, of it. You've heard of the tales of it moving. And I tell you, my limited dealings with the Legion are such that I know that if they had access to a fortress that could advance along with its army within, that certainly would be something they would be not only interested in having, but keeping.
The Guild Pact is still in place.
Indeed.
I don't know. So, yeah, I think thank you for sharing those thoughts with me.
Is there anything, in the interest of a free exchange of what we know and the success of our guild's joint endeavor, is there anything you saw in that overlook that you did not share with Volkos?
The only thing we know is that those are creatures that seem to be able to live in the water. They use tools which are similar to merfolk, as you may have heard already. And they were using explosives, and I don't know why or how.
These regions, even with our reach of, even with the reach of our eyes and ears, it has been difficult to learn much. The Gruul seem curiously protective of this region.
I have a very, very bad feeling, and I honestly would hope that this thing is flooded again and we don't have to care about it anymore.
I would think that there is, with some heartening, a fortress such as this in the hands. There's never been an alliance between the Azorius and the Garul. Do you not think it promising that at some point there was?
I mean, it is obviously. I'm proud of our founding father who made the guild pact, and who was able to join all the guilds together, and we were having a pact. I mean, with the Gruul, with everyone.
Yet the others are absent from this white fortress. It seems only us three that agreed. And if you can move such a thing, if those tales are true, could you not move it to some literal and figurative common ground?
Yeah, I can't imagine us working together other than trying to defeat some more destructive thing. And I can't imagine something more destructive than having some kind of ultimate weapon in the hands of only one guild. So, well, we'll see.
Well, at the very least, there are some secrets to be revealed. And I appreciate that I will be, on behalf of my guild, revealing those things with one such as you.
Thanks.
And kind of pats you on the shoulder. Then, should we rejoin the others and eat?
We should.
I hear that the professor is preparing some form of fish. And he turns his ring off.
I think he's eaten it all already.
So back in the camp, what Kabobo, Trovik, and Dr. Cardinal, what have you guys been doing while Vasul has been absent? Anything of interest?
Setting up. Maybe I'll have a look at this sample I took earlier.
Sure.
After I've set myself up. Actually, I think I'm going to try and hide that explosive so it's not in its original container as well.
Oh, okay. So again, remember, they know you've told them you've got them on there. Unless you're doing something before you dock at the island, there's.
All right. Okay.
I'm not sure how you were thinking you were going to hide that explosive and bring it in. If you've got an idea, please feel free.
No. I mean, after we've got it there.
Yeah.
It's in our bit where we're sleeping, right?
No. Fuck no. Okay. No, they've kept it outside of the encampment. That's why they've got. Remember, I was saying those Boros legionnaires were meeting you away from the rest of the wharf. It's because your boat is with the explosives on it is being kept well away from the camp. They don't know the particulars of it, but they know that the explosives are powerful enough to bring down at least one of those skyscrapers. If you were wanting to do something with it, though, Mo, I'm happy to.
No, that's fine. No, I thought that was in our sort of block of stuff. No. Okay, well, if it disappears or someone runs off with it, we'll have to deal with it. No, I'm just going to maybe after we've set our stuff up, he'll set out his bits of his lab equipment and start analysing that.
Sure. Why don't you give us another Tinker's Tools check, please?
Or is it? Would it be alchemy in this case? I mean, it doesn't really.
It's the same thing, isn't it? It's your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence. It doesn't really matter to me. All right. So, I mean, it's still active, and you think you could probably, if you want, you could probably cultivate another sample of the stuff. So if you want to make yourself your own little sample of fungal graffiti stuff, you could do that.
Well, that's interesting, but I think not terribly useful.
Okay. I mean, when has that ever stopped the mad scientist?
Yeah, well, he's probably thinking about how to get into the tower tomorrow. I assume we're going to sleep overnight, then try and go in the morning.
You're not there yet.
Oh, sorry, this is a halfway place. Sorry, I couldn't quite.
It's okay. I will tell you when you get to the tower.
Right. In that case, after he's done that, he's going to maybe have some rations. Or have they got like cooking facilities set up?
Yep. So you can eat. Well, so anything of interest, like sundry stuff, like eating and sleeping and whatnot. Unless there's anything that we need to spend attention on, we don't need to worry about that. What about Trovic or Kabobo? Do you guys have anything you guys wish to do in camp?
Trovic is watching the camp, watching the burrows, especially when they stare at him, stares back. And he's going to make sure, he's going to also keep an eye on the explosives, because maybe these Boros people are just trying to smoke and mirror us, and they're the ones who are trying to sabotage things.
Looking at the to your eyes, the luxurious sort of setup that they've got inside the camp, like, you don't need this. If you wanted to go and camp with those 4 Boros Legionnaires, the 3 humans and the 1 Viashino, you could easily do that out there.
Well, I'll probably camp somewhere in between. I don't want to hang out with them.
Okay. So you get yourself out there, start your own campfire. Why don't you give us an intimidation roll, please? I know you're not trying to just scare them. I just want to get a sense of how impressed they are.
No, we'll see. I do. Not very.
You want to spend Astonishing Fortune?
Nah.
That's sort of a thing, yeah. So they're I think what they do is once they see you're out there too, there probably is some kind of camp song or war song or whatnot that is particularly insulting to the Gruul clans. Something involving intimate relations with those boars that you love so much.
But that might be true, so I don't know if that's an insult. How do you think Minotaurs are born? No, I don't know. That's a boar, man.
Okay. So they sort of do that stuff, but whatever. I mean, they clearly think that
if you think I'm incited by it, I don't think I would be, but it's up to you.
Okay. No. I think that you're you are not the beast that they think that you are, that you're just going to, rise at the first insult or whatnot. You are much more, bide your time kind of sort. So you got at least one person watching the explosives in addition to the Boros Legionnaires. How about you, Kabobo? Anything you wish to do in camp?
Yeah, well, so Kabobo wants to go speak to Mizzix.
Okay.
And he's going to, he's going to speak in Goblin for sure. But he's also going to try to, as much as possible. I mean, we've known each other a long time. So, there's childhood or
layoff, right?
I'd say layoff, right?
Yeah.
Or playground, or kids school slang. He's gonna try and use sort of the hardest Goblin to understand if you don't speak native Goblin. You know what I mean? He's using all the slang words and all the.
Well, you guys are. I think we had said that you guys you're originally from a pretty shitty slum kind of neighborhood, where both of you grew up. So the sort of that gang's favored, or that sort of neighborhood's favored slang and shit like that. Absolutely.
Right. If there's a word for it that no one else would know what I was saying, I'll kind of try to use that word.
It's the street goblin kind of equivalent of Belter.
Yeah,
right.
Totally.
So,
or even if you just go to a place like Jamaica and they're speaking English, but if you're not paying close attention, it's hard to understand what they're saying.
Or anyone from Glasgow.
Or even parts of the UK. Totally.
I know that this is English, but
could you say that again?
Yeah.
So I think some of the northeastern fishing villages are much stronger than Glasgow.
The Ouija's, I lived in Scotland for a year, and I didn't have that much difficulty with Glaswegians as much as that's sort of a running joke. The people from the Orkney Isles, though, no idea. No idea what they. I would sort of politely give up, eventually be like, "Oh, okay."
So he's come up to her and he's gonna say, pretend we're just catching up, and then he's gonna do a fake laugh,
yeah.
And then he's gonna say, all right, tell me what's going on.
Tell me, give me an idea of what, before I start diving into Mizzix, what are you sort of picturing Mizzix being like? Is she as driven and calculating as you are? Is she nicer? Is she meaner? What do you think?
I think that maybe she's a little nicer than than Kabobo, but I think that she's equally driven in her Simic world. Like, like they're both driven in career,
Yep.
and that's sort of why the marriage fell, right?
As you walk up, those weird, the trout crows kind of like look at you and like craw, and as they craw out too, there's like a tongue that sort of lashes out, like a salamander's tongue, and then she looks around and sees you. And says, I suppose you've come to accuse me as well, too, Kabobo.
Of course not, but I would hope that you would be able to speak the truth with me. If something is going on, I'd like to be in a position to help protect you. I'm not here to turn on you.
By suggesting that there may be something going on, makes me think that you suspect me. I had nothing to do with those attacks, nor did the Simic.
Well, I can tell you that camp that we were at, I saw with my own eyes the Simic sigil on the wall. Are you telling me this has been planted there by someone else to frame you?
And if it had markings of the Orzhov, you're telling me that it would be the Orzhov? That you have control over every member?
No, of course not.
Anyone who claims membership?
No. Why so defensive, Mizzix? It's me.
Give us
and he's sort of he's
yeah.
sort of using like the maybe some old slang that might remind her of their old days.
Give us a diplomacy check with advantage.
Inko,
I looked up and I saw it there. I swear to God, I thought you had a zucchini.
No, I'm sorry. That's just
no, it's
my,
a bottle. Yeah.
Or is it persuasion?
Persuasion, yes, please.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 16. Okay.
Good thing I had advantage.
So she kind of sighs.
You didn't spend the last 3 days riding with that damned Volkos.
No, I do not trust him. And of course I don't trust Aveda either.
What? That is the Dimir?
Isn't he the Dimir guy? Yeah.
You're right to suspect him. That smile of his, there's something behind it. But such is the way with all of his kind. The Dimir, the only thing I don't understand is why the Gruul are involved with this. You're riding with him. What can you tell me about them? What's their interest in here?
So far, he seemed genuine. I'm guessing it's the involvement of their clan with this site.
What I know is that the regions below here have not been unknown to our kind. But it's not something that we know. There are members who keep themselves at a distance. I'm telling you, Kabobo, and only you. If this gets back to the Orzhov, there is nowhere you could hide from me.
I'm totally start looking around for Razir.
Okay. Please don't arrive.
Yeah, don't be here. Like, I totally trust Rip, right? Like, he's on my team, but Razir, no, that jerk.
Yeah.
So,
and this is because of how good your role is. She leans in and she says,
there are members of the Combine who don't know what's been going on. The history of these guilds is long, and the regions under this are ancient. Something lurks down there, and we don't know what. I was told to go on this because you are.
Fair.
You may have risen in yours. I was not at the station to be first chosen for these types of expeditions. So I know. Mock me if you will, Kabobo. But I don't know. And I suspect that the Combine doesn't know either. What is going on in there?
I trust you. You watch my back, I'll watch yours.
We'll be watching everywhere. And you can see all the those trout crows kind of blink their multi-segmented eyes.
And I think I wink at her and I say, I have extra eyes too. And maybe Rip sort of appears for a second and then goes back to being invisible.
Okay. Both of the trout crows kind of they flap up, shocked by its appearance, and then get back down and gets them to settle down.
This one from Dimir. I don't trust him either. All smiles. He knows something. He knows something more than what he's sharing. But that's hardly a surprise with their kind.
Well, why don't you keep an eye on Aveta, and I'll keep an eye on Volkos.
And that Gruul. Keep your eye on him.
I will.
Why have their kind suddenly let us in? Why would they agree to this?
I can ask him.
He may be as ignorant as us. Pawns us all.
Well, that I'm certain of.
I'm trying to think, what would be something that she left you, like that you got in the divorce, as it were? Do you think there's something like a picture, a pet, a gift she gave you at some point?
Well, maybe this staff that I carry actually was a gift from her.
Sure, yeah.
Like, that was when I first started with Orzhov, and we didn't know where things were gonna break off and split off, and it was like,
sure,
first day on the job here, this staff will really turn some heads and help you.
Yeah. So she sort of looks at the staff.
You still have it then.
He sort of turns the angel in towards his own face. Always.
I would not have thought the Orzhov would have taken someone so sentimental. But watch your back, Abobo. I'd hate to find you with an axe or a dagger or a scorch mark in it.
Well, I appreciate it. As I said, I will also watch your back.
And she winks at you, your equivalent of like a hug, and says,
We'll speak.
Okay. Anything else you wish to, for any of you guys, anything you wish to do in camp before we pass through the evening and see if anything happens?
So we're in one large tent altogether?
Won't matter at all.
No, Trovik is watching the Boros watch your explosives.
Yep. And then the rest are in one large tent where the rest of the representatives from the guilds are. Oh, including.
Oh, so it's like a large.
The Zolda. From the Rakdos. Cult of Rakdos. So, as you guys, what does Vessul do with when he gets back into the camp from speaking to Evada? What does he do?
Yeah, I would confer with Trovik and Iago and just say that.
So let's say maybe like what you're doing is you're making your way back in. We'll say Evada's going to kind of walk the perimeter before he gets back inside. So you're making your way back to the encampment. When you see Trovik come out with his like travel pack over his shoulder, maybe he tells you that what his plan is to go and keep an eye on the.
Yeah, then I just I say, well, I just spoke with Ademir, and well, he spoke a little bit in riddles, as was to be expected, but I'm not sure whether whatever we find in this tower should not be within this tower. You don't know why, man. Why did your guild did not care or did not search what was below the land? Do you know? No.
So Trovik, why don't you give us a... Oh, you're muted, Carl. Yeah. Why don't you give us a history check? I know you're not trained in it, Trovik, but let's just see how much you've picked up. I'll minimize Lizolda. You have no idea. It sounds like, and Carl, you can correct me if I'm wrong about this, but with your background being athlete, I think that Trovik was more focused on sort of that part of like getting his position as a champion within the Gruul clans, and didn't really think about, you know, the wider like the politics of the kind of region. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, the politics is obscure. The only politics was in the arena.
Yeah. I'm just not sure. I'm very concerned that what is within this tower is maybe kept there for a reason, and it was flooded underwater, and maybe it was supposed to be that way, and we shouldn't have messed with it. But I think now we have to find out.
What Trovik knows, at least in the personal context of this, is there was where's his name here? Drakmir. So he had what do you call it? A mentor who kind of helped him like become such a champion in the Gruul clans, named Drakmir, and
that guy betrayed me, right?
He did, and
I feel like he did.
He did, absolutely, and he hates you as well too. And you know, Drakmir was among those that was like bird dogging you guys all the way up to the entrance here. Drakmir was opposed, and his faction was opposed to this whole thing. Remember there is that ex-member of the Golgari Swarm who's part of the Gruul, who kind of mentored you, a druid. She's one of the ones that you had a positive connection with. Dark Elf Druid, who's a member of the...
Dark Elf Shaman from the Golgari.
There's one that's
related to the Elven Druid in the Gruul.
Yeah. So the Elven Gruul one, she's part of the faction that seems to be keen on going here, as is that mysterious mentor of yours, the Golgari Shaman. And what the broader, like what they represent within the Gruul itself is sort of lost on you, but you know, personally, both, it seems the one who says that you've got a great fate, who's from the Golgari Swarm, and the one who's a part of the Dark Elf, who is part of the Gruul, that support this thing, they both seem to think that you have an important part to play in this. But what that means in the broader context. So, if you would you share that sort of context with Vasul, Trovik? Oh, you're muted, Carl.
I'll.
Oh, sorry. I think you were unmuted. I made you mute. Sorry.
Well, I'll share that with. Vasul, since we've been through some stuff.
Okay. So then you know that vessel. You can understand that there's someone from the Golgari Swarm that may have an interest in this as well too. What just common knowledge about the Golgari is that, like, below the surface, that's where their domain kind of begins, right?
Yeah.
So I see that Kobobo is approaching.
Yep.
So I would just say, come here, Kobobo. We were just talking. So I don't know what's within the tower, and I'm honestly not so eager to find out, but I think we have to. could we? Do you know whether your ex-wife could contact the renegade Simic so they could maybe tell us who first entered here?
I could speak with her. I already have, and I'm certain she's got nothing to do with what's been going on. I think your word of renegades is closest to what the truth would be. Or possibly ancient. I don't know.
I don't know as well. I think if we want to find out the truth, we have to find the person who uncovered this building first. And but somehow all of us don't know who that is, which is weird.
It is very strange. Trovik, do you know why your people have suddenly agreed to let us into this region?
I think it's an interfaction war. Some people want control, some people don't. Some people want unification, some people don't.
So those who want to allow all the other guilds here, do you know their reasoning?
Nope. No one's told me anything. I am like the chosen.
We all seem to have been left in the dark by our guilds.
Yeah.
The word Mizzix used was pawns.
Yeah.
Possibly.
If I was a Demir, I would say we were set up to fail for strange reasons.
And Vestil, you are reminded that the knowledge of the discovery of this thing seemed to suddenly come to all of the guilds at the same time. And it's not clear who... It's suspected that it's the House Dimir who did it.
Yes.
It's not... They haven't taken credit for that, but suddenly, all of the guilds seem to become aware of the discovery of the White Fortress at the same time, of Zunak's Tower. At the same time... and it's not sure how that information was conveyed to everybody. But suddenly everyone had some secret from the past was revealed, and suddenly everyone was working together to try and learn more about this secret, as opposed to just the individual members.
Yeah.
So, Iago, maybe you look up from your studies, and you've got your goggles on and whatnot, and you look over and you can see just outside the encampment, the three of them are talking. If you want to join the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, it would have taken me an hour or two just to do that, so maybe I'll walk over and join in.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I think we should just share what we know.
That you think someone else has already been in there?
Yes.
Recently?
No, not in there. I think someone made us discover this in order to get in there. And and the strange thing is, so from every guild there's only one member except the Boros Legion.
Yeah, that is curious, isn't it?
It's also allowing the Boros Legion in effectively the backyard of the Gruul clans, which is like for 10,000 years. That's never an okay thing. Since before the Guild Pact, they have been at each other's throats.
Mm-hmm.
Does Vasul bring up the information that he learned about the name of it being a Boros?
Yes. I just wanted to say that. Yeah. So it is named after a Boros general. So I would imagine that it was once a Boros fortress or something.
Possibly.
And I would imagine that our clan sealed it. For our faction sealed it, but I don't know why the guilds did this together.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that old lizard probably may know something, but he didn't certainly vouchsafe it to me. In that case, I think we should be careful. Maybe there is something in there that was sealed in there for a reason. So I think maybe we should be on the lookout for maybe someone crossing us. But I think we've really got to get to the tower and see what we see there.
Yeah.
The two I don't trust are Volkos, being like this Boros have now moved into the Gruul lands, and Iveta, obviously Demir. Who could trust them ever? They're always after our riches and power.
It's a curious thing. Kabobo. One interesting thing about the Orzhov, and one of the reasons they justify their existence, is they have the ability to bind contracts and agreements together to have supernatural enforcement. Not to the degree that, say, the Guild Pact is, but certainly in the same sort of sphere.
Right.
There are other things where if you need to have assurances beyond just the just the word of the other party, or the potential recourse to the Azorius Senate's law courts, you can bind yourself with the blessing of the syndicate.
So are we under some sort of a contract or a binding for this expedition?
You are not, but an agreement like such that three usual enemies that are, fair weather allies, to make sure that you have no betrayals between them, that sure would be a useful way to ensure that there aren't betrayals.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I would sort of bring this up. I don't know of any such contract, but
they would obviously, they would. Those who are members of the Orzhov Syndicate would usually secrecy, if it's requested, is something that would be honored. But
so that would be what? That would be Gruul. What are the three? Sorry,
the
Gruul,
three. Dimir and Azorius.
Right.
Yeah, I think we have to find out, but we have to be very aware and have eyes at the back of our heads, because I think there might be someone to step us, and it would really, really help to know in advance who this person will be.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts before you guys turn in for the evening?
I think Kabobo says the same thing that he says to Mystics. He says, "You guys watch my back, I'll watch yours."
Should we maybe one of us stay awake in turn, just in case someone tries to sneak into the tent and do anything nasty?
Well, if we can't trust the Boros to at least keep watch overnight, this mission is already doomed. As he looks around, we're probably outnumbered, like 3 or 4 to 1 or something?
Yeah. Even if you count just the other guild members,
It would be very, very handy to have these explosives to blow up the tower. It's a shame.
Yeah.
Well, if there is something bad in there, that might be one way of dealing with it permanently.
Yeah.
though,
having said that,
yeah, Kabobo knows all about binding magics. That also may be a way of freeing something.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
The other thing is, if there is some bad actor, it's not going to be all of the guild members are going to be in on it. But anyway, I think we should maybe keep an eye out tonight. Maybe not make it too obvious, but just be careful.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, can we make sure, are we having like cots next to each other, as it were?
Yeah, with suitable space between them. It's kind of like, I'm not sure if in the UK or Germany you guys have it too, but glamping, where it's camping, but it's in a very luxurious kind of way.
Yeah, okay.
Pizza Goblin.
Yeah. It's the same type of thing where there's like, you've got a nice little end table next to you that's been set up by the Legion. You've got a cot that is comfortable and whatnot. So there's this is right in the heart of the encampment. So unless the entire encampment's either going to turn on you or the whole thing falls, you guys will be completely safe.
Yeah.
Safe as houses, as they say.
Well, Other than Trovik.
Other than Trovik,
by
who's
himself.
outside, yeah, making eyes at the other singing a body song.
Okay, I will have the crossbow sort of tucked neatly under the cot, so I can literally just pull it out.
The house, what do you call it? As you're sort of doing that, because your character's not. I don't think you're trained in stealth, are you?
No, he's
Okay,
not.
so you're setting that up too, and I think Evada sees you doing that, and he gives you a look of like, "Oh, precious," and then heads off to bed, like as if like,
Yeah. I will turn out the light on the crossbow.
Okay. After the
No,
fact.
because it is effectively like a tactical. It's like a crossbow with like a tactical underslung light, as it were. So
Yeah. All right. So with that, then, unless there's anything else you guys wish to do, or anyone else you wish to speak to, you guys will hit the sack.
Yep.
The night passes uneventfully. Morning comes, although you would never know it down here. The only noise is the sound of the members of the Boros Legion stirring. The whole encampment is lit by like magical torches as well too. Some the Boros Legion has access to abundant magic as well as much of the rest of Ravnica. You guys meet with everyone in sort of the mess tent. And get yourselves fed and whatnot. Get ready, Trovik. It is an uneventful night, and the explosives are still safe along with your along with your boat or your transport. Anything? So overnight. First off, before morning comes, do you guys wish to spend any remaining spells or hit dice to heal? We still have a couple characters that are down a bit.
how much do you heal overnight, as it were? Just
You
normally?
regain half of your hit dice overnight with a long rest.
That's
So, like, if you hit dice is a
hit dice,
D8,
so I
you gain
roll-
4 back.
Yeah. So if you've gained, you guys are all 5th level, so you would have 5 hit dice, which means you would regain 2 back overnight.
Okay, well, I'll use the rest of my healing light.
Yeah.
So
you
I'll
don't.
do everybody in order again. So this is Yago. 4
Yeah.
more for you.
So hold on, Mo. You don't gain 2 hit points back. You gain hit dice back. The way that you heal in 5th edition is you spend hit dice.
oh right, sorry. I
That's
see what you
okay.
mean.
Yeah.
Let me undo that.
And then this is
I need to
Trovik.
move my thing around.
Okay.
And then that's for
Vessel.
Vasul.
Okay, so Vessel, you got 6 back. Trovik's at full.
How much did you get me?
Trovik's at full. Vessel got 4.
Yago, I healed you for an extra 4.
No, I'm at max then.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then just adjust your hit dice, whatever your hit dice is at right now, add 2 more to it, guys. But the Vessel, you could spend, if you've got any left that are unspent, that you wish to spend.
Yeah. I can spend 1 more, but then I will only have 4 next day. But yeah.
Oh, is anybody still injured after that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I have Cure Wounds that I can cast as well.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Then.
Sure, go ahead and do that, Kabobo. Vessel's still down by 7.
I can cast it at a higher level.
Nice.
Does that do anything?
Yeah, it adds extra
hang on.
dice.
Artists have to memorize spells, don't they?
So that's 5. Yeah. That's okay. I'm 41. It's perfect. That's okay.
And I think at 4.
I don't think it added an extra dice. Let me just read.
Oh
what
yeah, it did, because that's your extra dice is the one below. The first one was 2d4.
4 plus 5.
Yeah, so 9.
So it's 9 plus 9. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
see
you're
that.
easily at your max 43. Sorry, Mo, what was your question? Yeah, you do memorize.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just selecting spells. I'll take an extra healing this time.
Okay. Well, remember, you don't. The way that it works in 5th edition is your slate of prepared spells it's like your level or half your level depending on the class plus your modifier, and then you have from that list is where you cast your spells. You don't prepare like individual numbers the way you do in
Oh, I see.
previous editions. So like I think with artificers that's half your level rounding down.
Yeah, so that would be 2 plus 4, so 6.
So yeah, pick 6 spells. That's your list of prepared spells, and you don't need to double up on those. Those can be individually, and from that list is where you cast your spells throughout the day. No, that's okay. It's a different way of approaching it.
3, 4, 5.
Okay, so all of you guys recover anything you get back from a long rest as well. And what do you wish to do? Anything we should do with your morning before you guys set out?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think we're going to recover the explosives, right? We're in charge of.
You absolutely are. Yep, yep.
Oh yeah. That is very important. Yeah, we should totally.
So I'm gonna grab something. Whoop.
I feel much safer when we have the explosives, I must say.
You pat them. All right. Need 2 seconds here, guys. All right. There we go. Okay. So, with that... Oh, Mo, have you got your spells prepped for the morning? I'll let him finish. Keep doing that. He'll tell us when he's ready. Remember that if you need to add anything to your spell list, you can drag and drop it from the compendium as well, too. I think Moba is probably the only one who needs to worry about that. If there's nothing else you guys wish to do in the morning, the only thing that Volkos will say to you again, Vasul, before you guys set out is... keep yourself at a distance, but keep us in sight. We should be reaching the tower today.
So, just wait a minute, if we are talking already. So, Volkas, when did the Boros Legion get here?
What do you mean? Here?
So you said there were already troops at the tower scouting this?
Yes.
So when? How long was...
Within the first expedition came down here? I thought you were informed of this.
Not in all detail, actually.
When the Boros Legion became aware of this, and we were given the approval of the Joint Guild Committee, we set out securing the tower to ensure that no damage occurred to it and no one attempted to access without the complete approval of the guild subcommittee. And we set up stations for it. This has been over the last 3 months.
Okay. So do you know why the Gruul were so eager to let you pass?
I imagine because they hoped to turn whatever is in there to their advantage. I would do that.
Yeah,
and he presents that as sort of like a...
Yeah, but then wouldn't it be easier to just let no one in and keep it to yourself?
I think that the trust is that you Azorius, will be able to keep the beasts in line and keep the schemes of the Dimir at bay. That's why we agreed. Or so I think.
Yeah. I don't even know. Do you know? Does your guild favor you?
He looks at you.
So,
give us a persuasion check. Let's just see how well this goes over. We'll leave that to determine.
Yeah, no, I'm just. I mean, I don't like him, so I'm no problem if he doesn't like me. But
oh, we lost Carl. Oh, he's back. Awesome.
so it's an 18. Yeah.
So he actually, you know, for a moment, he kind of looks at you, and you're not quite sure how he's going to react, and he starts laughing. And like he's kind of that like big belly laugh type too of just
Yeah. Yeah, you know, because I got the feeling yesterday that all of us are members of the guild who are not so much in favor of our leaders and somehow seem expendable. But that may be just my...
Vasul, what did you do before you were assigned this task?
Yeah, and then I would just say, well, I was working in court, you know.
And I take it that Minister Azala Ralanu, Minister Ralanu, she favors you. You may recall that's your...
Yeah, she does. But then you know about the whatever the somewhat murder, the hand axe murderer or something.
I can tell you that I am speaking only for myself. I am seen in favorable eyes by the Legion. I can tell you as well that the Legion thinks well of Minister Ralanu. How does the joke go? The Azorius is the brain, the Boros is the fist.
Yeah, we say so, but I feel not so much in brain.
What I've heard,
whatever.
Ralanu, I've heard, prefers to temper her proteges, and he gestures and fire comes to his hands in the forge, you know, as you would forge a blade through fire. If she sees something in you and trusts that you can keep your head above water, even water under the ground, I will, though evidence that I've seen may suggest otherwise, I trust her judgment. I have known her long.
Yeah, so thank you for your kind words.
He hits you and he says, you are the mind. You just need to get your footing. Allow us to be your fist. He smiles. Get yourself ready and keep those explosives away from the rest of us. And as he's walking away and he turns and comes back, if you value your life, he points at Iago, who's sort of like bundling up all of his, you know, equipment and stuff, and, you know, trying to get that crossbow onto himself as well. Keep him away from the explosives.
Yeah. But you know, Isets have the tendency to just blow themselves up. I don't know how they do this. It's maybe some kind of containment procedure, but
I see we have
works.
the same understanding of the threat of having both the doctor. I don't know what you've heard about him. As you say, there are some members of our expedition who seem to have been set up for failure on this expedition, or perhaps that their guild cares little for the outcome of it, as opposed to wanting to see success with valuable members of a guild like yourself and me. Then, I have work to attend to. See to your boat. And he sort of taps his nose, raises his fist, and then taps his head and points at you.
Yeah. That's thumbs up, yeah.
So you're able to get yourself out to the... well, you guys certainly will be ready to go before the rest of the sort of contingent where they're getting ready. You guys have anything you wish to talk about or say before you guys set out? caravan with you as the trailing one.
No, I think we're
Iago,
good.
Kabobo,
It's,
and Trovik, you likely would have seen Vasul speaking to Volkos.
Right. I don't know that I would be doing any kind of interference there, so yeah, I'm just ready to go. I want to get there and see what's going on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we are alone on the boat and a little bit behind, I say he claims to know nothing.
Well, I think we'll find when we get to the town. How individually heavy and big are these lumps of chunks of explosion?
Well, again, the chunks are about like yay by yay.
Okay. As we're at the tail end, Charlie, I will during the day I will put one of them in my backpack.
So that's going to take up keep in mind what's in your backpack right now. The weight of one of these bricks is probably about 15 pounds.
Okay, I'm 146 out of...
So the weight aside,
46.
think of the dimensions of that and everything else you've got in there. Your Tinker's kit, your Alchemist kit, and whatnot too. It's not something that is going to be... let's put it this way. Like you're rolling for your sleight of hand at disadvantage to try and keep it hidden, if that's what you're planning.
Okay, I'll just leave that then.
Well, so, I mean... You're free to try. I mean, this is why we have 20s on the dice. You may succeed in it, but
and get to the tower, I think.
Okay. So the you guys maybe see Dr. Cardinal considering this stuff and then putting the brick back and sealing it back up into that flush pack or whatever. Anything else you guys wish to do before you set out?
No.
All right.
I'll put the light back on the crossbow tip.
Okay.
I would just watch the water more carefully this time, because we know what's coming, maybe.
Okay.
Well, and also watch out for flying things as well.
Most assuredly. Let's see here. All right. So, give me a second here, guys. I want to quickly set one thing up. For no apparent reason.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's just something handy and helpful.
Oh, actually, what I will do is do an experimental elixir,
Okay.
which is after a long rest. So this is I randomly create a... For goodness sake.
What is it?
This is the... Why is it not... Oh, there we are. So
Problem
I
between
rolled
keyboard
one.
and chair mode. Okay, be a third level. Roll on the
I
experimental
rolled
elixir
one,
one.
so that's a healing potion.
Okay. Nice. So 2d4 plus your intelligence modifier. 2d4 plus 4. Healing potion. So you get up in the
Alright,
morning and the little thing that you've had like bubbling away on the nightstand
Yep.
overnight. Yep. Cool.
Right, I'll put that in my pack, but I will tell everyone else I've got it
Okay.
in case they need to pull it out and give it to someone else.
Okay.
Good idea.
All right. So, let's see. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Rid of that. All right. So, yes, this will do. This will do nicely. I mean, all right. So, the landscape through which you guys are traveling is very, very similar to what you've been going through thus far, too. Lots of collapsed buildings, all still in that sort of ancient kind of Azorius style. What does Vasul make of this stuff, too? Like, is it curious to him that this stuff is down here? Is it awe-inspiring?
I mean, it is awe-inspiring and it's full of history.
Okay.
But I think it's so weird and complicated right now. And it puzzles me because I did not do so much of a failure in this court case that I have to be punished with going here. I mean, come on. So yeah, it's a little bit. I pity myself, but then again, it's kind of cool.
Do Volkos's words about why the minister would have selected you for this, does that echo at all in your mind?
It might be. I mean, I honestly feel flattered that I think, and I think there is truth in it. But then again, I see what the other guilds have sent, and then I have doubts. I mean, just having one patron does not mean that everyone thinks good of me. So
Yep. All right. So allow me to bring you guys. Oh, I need Kabobo. Where'd you go, Kabobo? Where'd you go, Kabobo? And I apologize now because I'm probably going to make that joke a lot throughout this campaign, so... Though all of you guys have played with me for several years now, so you would be well aware that jokes really don't get old to me, so... that'll be... I am sorry ahead of time. Okay. Here we go. Here we go, Bo. Okay, so I don't know why this is the case, but I can't get you. Let's do this here. God dang it. Ugh, I can't get something to stack properly here. I can't get you to be on top. There's a weird glitch that I've noticed that like sometimes tokens won't layer properly.
Oh.
Yeah. So when you try and get the thing, so on this map you're going to be near the back, Kabobo, and I just cannot seem to get you off the. So you're not under the boat. Rest assured.
I believe I was hanging out at the front, so if you want to put me kind of off the front of the boat.
Yeah, you don't want to be near the explosives.
Yeah. All right, let's do this here. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I've even tried like removing and then pasting again. Actually, let's do this.
Oh,
I wonder if
as long as I can see a bit of my token, I think I can move it if I need to.
Yeah.
Kabobo's kind of hiding under the boat.
Oh, I think I fixed it.
Yes.
Oh, I can't see anything.
Nope, I didn't. Still fucking broken. I don't know what is going on here. That's so frustrating. Let me try.
I think we are on the map.
No, I don't think he's.
No, you're not over on the map yet.
Yeah.
Let me try. Here, I've tried reloading the map. Nope, you're just. It wants to have you under the boat.
Yeah.
Same thing with your.
That's just. It's showing you that Kabobo was hiding from the explosives.
Yeah. Or he's ready to be carried forward with the the detonation. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here.
Well, that's Warhammer, I think, goblins.
Yeah. Or Warcraft
glider
goblins.
troops. Sorry, yes.
Okay. Let me see here, guys.
Well, I can remember the glider bombers the goblins have in Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which is always quite fun. And the squig herds are always amusing.
Well, you just shoot it. Basically, you're just shooting a goblin, and it blows up when it hits.
Okay, give me 2 seconds here. And Dan, I'll have everything set up here. Because it was driving me nuts how much noise my keyboard was making. I had this cheapo keyboard that I picked up for this when I first got this laptop, and I replaced it with this Whisper Quiet one, and it's fucking awesome. It's super quiet. All right, so let me bring you to the map, guys. Let me make sure that Kabobo's got. What's your dark vision range?
60.
60 feet. That sounds about right. Okay.
If I do this, there, it's in the.
And you know what? That's so weird. Oh, I wonder. That's so weird. Now you're, because I gave you vision, now you're on top of the boat.
Nice. Okay. Maybe I couldn't see, so the game figured I could be under the boat.
Yeah.
That is so weird. See if I do the same thing with... Nope, didn't work with your imp, though. That is so weird. Well, whatever. All right, so where you guys are is navigating your way along. Right along here.
Oh, there we go.
You guys can position yourselves on the boat where you choose to be. I've got Vasul and Dr. Cardinal at the back.
That's okay. Yeah.
And again, this isn't a cave. It is. These are big things. The thing you hear as you're making your way along, you can see further up to the north. There is that's where sort of the rest of the caravan is. And then right up here, am I on the right layer? I am good. Right up here, there's a roaring you guys can hear as you guys are entering into this narrow. It's kind of like a cul-de-sac of the ruins, where the ruins are all crashed down, and the roaring you can hear is water going down below. There's
like a waterfallish sound or something.
Yeah. There's like a vortex right in the center here that is leading down. The air is full of spray as well too, so there's lots of you're going to get one, but it's not so powerful as it's sucking you in. It's just that you need to spend so your movement for your craft is, where are you? I think it's 30 per round.
And I can see really far.
How far can you see?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Like, yeah, far.
Let's see here. How far can you see?
Oops. Oh, I accidentally moved the boat when I was trying to...
You should be able to see 60. Let's see how...
Yeah, I can see farther than that.
Oh, okay. Hold up. Maybe I've...
Yeah, I think we can all see that far, which I don't think is quite correct, because we've got the lights on the boat.
Yeah. Let's see what's going on here.
Unless you're saying the
lanterns on the
20, like I can see over 100 feet for sure.
Yeah, what is the radius of your... okay, so it's not you giving off bright light.
Is it no snapping? Is that how you measure? Yeah.
Yeah. Either of the ones... No snapping just means that you can place it anywhere.
Yeah, it's about 100 feet.
So let's see here. Who had... Trovik for sure doesn't have light on. Vasul. You don't have bright light on. Is bright light on the boat?
Oh, maybe the boat.
Well, the boat
could be centered on the boat.
So
bright light, so the boat should only have...
I think they were 60-foot radius lights, though.
Let's see here. No. There's no light on you. I don't know why you guys are seeing so far. Let's see.
I mean, it looks like 30 feet.
Oh, you know why?
And then 60 feet dim.
You know why you can see is... Hold up.
Which would make sense for a lantern on the boat, though.
I know what the issue is. Give me 1 second here.
Yeah, and currently the distance we can see is like bright, just so you know.
Yeah, so that's Kabobo. I know why you can see. It's because of Rip. Rip sees 120 feet.
Oh.
Yep. That's why you can see that far. Everyone else can only see... Yeah, everyone else can only see 30 feet out.
I can see 45 feet out.
Oh man, Rip's got
30
good
feet
view.
bright and 60 feet dim.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why you can see out so far, Kabobo, is when you see through your familiar's eyes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then what I can do too is if when you tell me that you're not seeing through it, what I can do is just do this.
Oh yeah, that's what I was expecting mine to look like. Yeah.
So we'll do that. I've got it set up so that when you do decide to spend your turn looking through his senses, you can see that.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are you can hear the roaring up ahead, and I think if you spot through Rip's eyes, you can see where that is plunging down or swirling around and then going to be sucking down in.
Yeah, I probably would have done that when we could really hear the sound. And I mean, you don't have to do it right now because I've seen it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have done that.
Yeah. So there we go.
And I would tell her there seems to be some kind of a waterfall or something up ahead. Careful.
Okay, I'll steer away from the sound, so off to the west.
Okay.
To keep well away from it. So maybe try and go at like a 45-degree angle for now, and then.
Okay.
Because the sound was off to this angle, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, the sound is like over here.
I will steer the other way then.
Turn this back to this. It's like over here-ish.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so 30 feet per round is how far you can move with it, and you need to spend 5 of that to sort of fight against the current. So 25 feet per round. So you're beginning to... Whoopsies, wrong thing. You are beginning to navigate off in, you said, towards the west?
Yeah, away from the sound. That way,
yeah. Into making our way along. And everyone, because you guys said you were watching the water, would everyone give us a... Actually, I want to do this. The highest passive sight for you guys is, I believe, still Vasul, right? Do you have a wisdom bonus of +3?
Perception. My perception bonus is 6. Yeah.
Is 6. Okay.
Passive 1. Yeah. Okay.
So 16 passive. Yeah.
Okay. So you hear then from behind you, as you guys are moving in here, in spite of all the noise, in spite of all the things, you hear a splash. And you think you can see right around here. You think you can see just like the disappearing for a split second, a scaly or slimy tail that disappears below the water.
Some things within the water, I don't know, snake or something like the ones before, I don't know.
Much bigger. The tail, the girth of the tail is much bigger than those creatures, those simic creatures you faced before.
Oh yeah, so it's big. I don't know.
Anyone wish to do anything? Or are you spending another turn moving?
Well, I'm going to ready an action that get his great axe ready in action.
Okay.
Comes close.
Could we drive closer to the land or something so that we could? Is there dry land where we could stand on? No, or?
Yeah.
I mean, how is the cave? So we could.
Yeah, you can picture that this is sort of. It'll be difficult terrain, so it's ruins and rubble and stuff like that. At the very least, it'll be big enough for you to hop onto. Either it's on its side or it's like broken in the wall.
Yeah.
And probably like the ruins probably extend out some distance, so it's not going to be like immediately plunging into the depths. It might be,
presumably there's like a shallow sort of bit of.
There might be, and then it might suddenly give way where like the remnants of it are broken and give way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pull out my crossbow and sort of.
So who's driving the boat then? So let's let's drop into initiative because this will be just easier to organize what everyone's doing with their round. So everyone go ahead and click on their token and then click on initiative. All right, me.
Do you have to click your token in this one?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Global initiative.
All right. It's everybody. Okay, so Dr. Cardinal, I've been picturing you have been controlling this thing thus far. You're letting go to get your crossbow ready?
What, is it like a tiller?
Well, it's like a tiller kind of thing.
Okay, can I hold on one hand and just pick the crossbow up with the other?
It's a two-handed weapon. Not to. You could pick it up, but it wouldn't be ready to use yet.
Okay, I'll just pick it up with one hand and have it sort of there. So I've got my hand on the tiller, and I'll still keep going that way, just so that I'm ready to like drop it and then turn around and fire it.
So let's see here. So you're gonna you got 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that about where you want to be?
Yeah, sort of in towards the shallows as it was.
Okay. So if you wanted to be closer, you could.
No, I think that's perfect.
That's perfect. Okay. All right, Kabobo, what are you doing?
I think he's alert, but he's not necessarily casting anything. He hasn't seen anything, so.
Yep. Okay. So then there's a sloshing beneath the water. And then the token I selected doesn't quite match with what this looks like because it's another one of these weird hybrid things. But what surfaces looks like a combination of a sea snake, a manta ray, and some kind of like sea scorpion. Over there. And the head of the sea snake stretches out from where like the manta's wings are, and you can see there's the nasty looking scorpion-like tail behind, and it arcs to the side and then shoots. Let me roll a d4, and I'm gonna go straight across the top here, guys, to see who is targeted. Dr. Cardinal, right at the back. Oh shit, there's no attack roll with this. So this covers you. I need a dexterity save from you, please, Dr. Cardinal.
Oh, right.
A DC 16. Oh boy, that first one would have been good, or second one would have been good. So, unfortunately, your nat 20s are failing you when you need it. This will be a lot of acid damage. Do you want to spend a astonishing fortune to re-roll that?
Yeah, I suppose you want me to actually re-roll it rather than just take 20.
So, and I mean, you guys have a shit ton of astonishing fortune here.
Yeah, in that case, I will. It's a bit of my mouse was probably. Oh, a bit more like it.
Nice. All right. So you get half damage from this. Oof, 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 oof. Sorry for this. Sorry for this. You take 19 points of acid damage, Dr. Cardinal.
Good job I did that save.
And you're washed in this stuff. This thing cries out. Let's finish the round. Vasul, what do you do?
Damn. Yeah, I'm looking at my friend here, and I think he has not taken the damage yet, but I think he's almost dead, so I would cast Cure Light Wounds on him.
There you go. I got the Dr. Cardinal's damage.
So yeah, he hasn't he taken 19 points of damage or something?
He did. Yeah, I got it on him
true.
for him. Yeah, Modus didn't mark the token.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the hit points carried over properly. Hang on, let me.
Hold on.
So it should. It doesn't roll. Oh yes. What should I say? So.
Okay.
So this should be 15 points of healing.
Nice. So you see him hit. You knew this was coming. Vessel, you spin, and then what does your healing spell look like again?
I think it's just some kind of music-themed thing. So I would maybe mime something and then just do something with the hands.
Like a calming resonance, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
When you touch him. So, yeah, you restore 15 points. Whoa, jeez. Then it is Trovik. What are you doing, Trovik? Oh, you're muted, Carl.
I can toss a javelin at it, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't reach it, right? I mean,
can't reach it, no.
Okay.
You can grab a javelin.
Yep. Right. I mean,
okay.
Hopefully javelin's set up. Yes, it is.
Nice. It connects, but it kind of ricochets off the armor. But look, we got 4 minutes left.
I know. I'm going to use this astonishing fortune.
Nice.
So I'll re-roll that. Just re-roll it, right? There's
you could dump. You could spend 2 to re-roll, and you can spend 1 more to add roll with advantage if you want.
Do it.
I'll 2 to re-roll.
Okay.
No, just take the advantage too.
And with advantage.
Yeah,
do it.
This will be how we're ending our session. Oh, so with advantage, that's a hit.
Yes.
Nice. So you plunge into this thing's hide, and there's like a greenish, blackish ichor that comes out from where your javelin hits it. And we'll see what happens next in 2 weeks' time. So, then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for session 3 of our ongoing Ravnica game. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, we'll move us back to this intro thing here. Please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below, and I will endeavor.
Mark and Danny.
Oh, yours not muted, Carl.
Cree, Mark and Danny.
Oh.
There we go. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please do not hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, you can find a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, where all of us are active, and you can find channels dedicated to this campaign, every other campaign we run on the channel, as well as most games we run on the channel. Tons of great people over there, tons of great conversations. You are more than welcome to join us. In addition, there is a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, and all money that is donated through that goes directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to any other middleman or to the channel. It all just goes to help the over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children who benefit from SOS Children's Villages International. So, really terrific organization that gets the benefit from all of your generosity. In addition, as a small way of saying thank you, we offer a small thank you by way of a charity raffle. The next one will be on December 1st, and for every $25 Canadian that you donate, you get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other great prizes we'll have for that raffle. I'm going to be sending out the last of the charity prizes from our last raffle a little later today, because I finally did hear from our last couple of people. But last prizes, we had over $2,000 worth of prizes that we gave out, including some great stuff from our friends at Beetle and Grimm's Pandemonium Warehouse, and our friends at at Mongoose Publishing, and I'm trying to think who else. Oh, and our friends, of course, at the Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games was very generous in donating some gift certificates. And from now until September 10th, if you enter the code NOBLEMUSER at Noble Knight Games when you're checking out from an online purchase of over $10, you'll save 10% on your purchase. And I've abused the shit out of that in the last month or so, so thankfully that will be coming to an end fairly soon. But be sure, if you are picking something up from our friends at Noble Knight Games, be sure to enter in Noble Muser, and you'll save 10% on your purchase. You also, if you've made a donation to the Heroes Save Villages campaign since August 1st, you have a chance to vote for our next charity game, which will be at the end of October. And as is befitting of the month of Ghosts and Goblins, we have 4 different horror stories that are up on offer. If you have donated since August 1st, be sure to head over to the Charity Initiatives channel on the Dungeon Musings Discord server. Cast your vote for which of those 4 will be playing. And then on the week before that session, be sure to check in again on the Charity Initiatives channel and spend the money that you donated to help outfit our heroes for the bullshit that I will be throwing at them in that session. Speaking of people having bullshit thrown at them, the last thing I will say is a huge thank you to our players for today. So, Mo, Carl, Ingolf, and Jeffrey, thank you so much for playing today, guys. I had a shit ton of fun getting things more intriguing with you guys in this campaign. I'm having a lot of fun with this. So thank you, guys. then for those listening at home, thank you again for joining us. We'll be back again with this campaign in 2 weeks' time. Oh, Anna says hi. Once again, this dog's internal clock is flawless. We'll be back then. We hope we gave you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our guild heroes are getting into in the streets and under them in Ravnica. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.